I don't even know what to do. Josh is back in the building.
Hey, this is awesome to have you.
Is it?
It's great that he has no microphone on. Oh, he does.
I do have a
Damn
microphone
it.
on.
Yeah, he's got a little. Oh, you thought he just didn't
got the
have
little
one.
I thought
microphone.
they made me forget. That was going to be great. I was
Welcome
like,
back,
let's have him
Josh.
sit here and
How
not
are we
talk.
going to hear him?
He's somewhere. He's not in an Excel spreadsheet. You're not in a meeting. You're not in LA.
My
You're
computer-
here with us.
You're not. I want to say something gross about you and your girlfriend. You're not.
Yeah, save it for later.
spooning with her.
Save it for
Okay.
later.
That's so gross.
Oh
so
gosh! Well, I
disgusting.
wanted to say other things, but I know you said Erica's parents listen,
They
so
do.
I wanted to say something, you
Yeah.
know, sexually provocative.
Why don't you just leave it at spoon?
Sorry, Erica's parents, but just what I do.
What's great is you didn't say anything,
Yeah.
but now I'm thinking of a lot of sexual
Oh
provocative
yeah, I mean he
things
was
that you
in
could have
he was
said.
in Los Angeles with her. I mean all the
Because
things
you know
that
what
could have
happens
gone
in
done.
Los Angeles. Your face,
My face
you're
is getting all
so
red.
destroyed.
I'm so embarrassed. Goodbye, everyone. This has been great. I'm going to leave.
It's good to have you.
It's great to be here. It really is. I missed you guys. It's been 2 weeks since I was on the podcast. I've had
Wow.
no outlet to give all my opinions about football, so it's great to be back.
Good,
I have
we're
a lot
glad to
say.
have you. Right, right.
It's great to have you. The
Lefkoe,
energy
for
is
some
palpable.
reason, pays homage to you at the end of each show. I don't know why.
I know. Even the shows that I've said I will not appear on.
Right.
Like Monday and Thursday, I will not appear.
would say goodnight.
But you know what? He always says,
What about Bill Cosby? Josh said puddings and pepperoni. Good evening, good night.
he always says, Josh would say good evening, but that's not what I say.
What do you say?
I
Good
say,
night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.
Right.
Oh,
Josh
Yeah.
doesn't say good evening.
I
Josh is not a nerd. Josh is not a nerd that says good evening. He
I
says good
love
night.
how he's been doing
sure?
your sign off wrong though.
Yeah,
It's
I
even
mean, what the
better.
fuck is that?
did you know this all along?
Also,
yeah, I did.
by
And
the
you
way,
haven't told me.
No, I kind of was just
you.
like, it's kind of funny.
Isaac Bruce's sign off.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Shalom. What?
It was amazing.
Where did that come from?
Isaac Bruce.
Is Isaac Bruce Israeli? Does he speak Hebrew?
Man, I hope so.
I don't know. He was good interview though.
He was.
He was
Yeah,
good.
we had fun.
I don't know if he had a bar mitzvah though. Isaac Bruce playing Coke and Pepsi at his bar mitzvah.
Yeah,
would
would've
have
been good.
You guys had your bar mitzvah?
Yes,
All right.
of course.
I never got
A quinceañera.
no, what the hell is that? I never
Communion?
got
Christen?
Yeah, I got communion. What's the next one? Confirmation.
Confirmation.
I never got it.
No.
Yeah. Guess I'm not a real Catholic.
You're unconfirmed.
Oh,
Should
gosh.
we do? I mean, we've never done Fendrick Lefkoe bar mitzvah stories, but I could
Not right now.
unload. I could unload the
Fedrick
tank on
comes
that.
in and he's already commandeering the show for
yeah.
bar
All
mitzvah
right, let's just do
stories.
that. Do we have anything to talk about?
Yes, Sims is becoming a part of the LeBatard family
I know
right
this
now.
is funny.
It is funny.
I had no idea this was happening until he told me today.
Yeah.
I really kind of went off the grid while I was in California.
Yeah, thanks. Good
I didn't.
job.
I didn't look at Twitter.
I'm cleaning dishes and I'm listening to the LeBatard podcast and I hear Stugat say, Sims has Blake Bortles at 70. I wonder who he's got at 69 and 71. So I text Sims. I go, tell me who you got at 69 and 71. I'm going to tweet it at him. And now you've been on the show. You've given Cody, what is it, Austin Davis at 69?
Yes.
And then 68 was T.J. Yates. And then 67
Was Cardell Jones.
Cardell Jones. Sims comes in and he's frantic. And he goes,
It's
I
stressing me
don't
out.
want to do this. And he shows me this list he has with every quarterback written in the NFL, and there's just numbers all over the place. I go, Sims, we'll figure this out. And we go through a list. And he goes, I think it's Cardell Jones. I go, okay, what about C.J. Beathard? He's like, oh. So we're just sitting there going back and forth. But now Sims is going to be employed by the LeBatard Show for the next 3 months.
I'm picturing the Zach Galifianakis scene from The Hangover where he's standing
the
at the
numbers.
blackjack table and all of the numbers are in front of his face.
I'm just waiting for the day they have me on and they literally just get the number in the quarterback and actually
And then
hang
hang
up.
up?
Yes,
Yeah.
because they keep saying they're going to do that, but that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah, I keep telling Sims when he goes on, he didn't say Sims and Lefkoe today. He
Yeah,
didn't. They
every
said
day you
podcast,
gotta
but
say
he
it.
didn't say it.
You're right.
And I'm sitting there and I'm going, I don't know. I've been working on this material with him for quite a long time.
You are.
He's had a bit of practice.
I tell you, they're just getting the Chris Sims greatest hits right now.
Yeah, they are.
They got the spleen. They
Right.
got the Blake Bortles. They
Yeah.
got wimpy quarterbacks.
Wait till they get to number one and they hear Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback
my
ever.
God.
I'm telling you, once they get into JFK, the fact that you've never eaten an egg,
Right.
your reactions to Uber in New York, you have so many things
Oh, fucking
that are
Uber.
perfect.
Fucking
know-
Uber.
See, I just say it and you get upset.
Do you know what the delay is on their show? Like how many seconds they have to bleep you out?
I would
Because
get.
when you start talking about Rodgers, I don't know if that works on their show.
Yeah, you mean like I can't say I want to blow him and
Right,
all those
yeah,
kind
I
of
don't know
things?
if- I don't know if that's
either.
gonna fly.
Is that an
We're
FCC
gonna
rule?
learn a lot about their show. I would love to get Stu Gatz on our show.
Yeah.
So maybe if you just invite Stu Gatz.
He's great.
When I get to
over
like
Dan.
55,
Okay. Then you'll start calling your own shot.
I'll start asking
Get through
things.
It's your first week of really working for them, so you just got your key card.
I love how I got suckered into it,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, yeah. And now you're screwed.
But
You
they're
gotta
kind
do
of
it.
cool guys. They're kind of like us, so I was just like, okay, fine.
I'm just
Have
loving
I-
the fact that they are pleasantly surprised by you. And it's the constant thing of being like, I feel like we've been making these videos for so long. And then when people are like, wait, you lost your spleen? I was like, episode 2, I don't know.
Have I ever played for you the video of LeBatard and Stu Gatz reacting to LeBron going to Miami after the
No.
decision? So it's an unbelievable 5 minutes of radio where
I love their show.
they're calling him the giant royal penis, and they're talking about his entrance to Miami. It's legitimately one of the funniest things I've ever heard. I'll play it for you after.
Before we get to the numbers, because you are right now going to be infamous and tied to Blake Bortles, which is incredible.
It is incredible.
I have a stat for you about Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
300-yard passing games, Sims. How is he 70? So in his last 21 games, he has 4 300-yard passing games.
All of them against the Colts?
3 of them against the Colts.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
And the Colts rankings in the passing defense in those games, 32, 27, and 24.
Yes. It's the perfect matchup for him. I mean, again, it was...
But is the Colts defense so bad because they kept getting lit up by Blake Bortles?
no. Sorry.
It's unbelievable. All right, so 143. So
143,
43s.
yeah.
Let's start off with our guest, our returning good evening person.
So Ron Geralt did wear 43 for the 2006 Rutgers football team, so I
course.
could talk about him, but would you guys rather talk about Rutgers nearly taking down the number 3 team in the country last night in basketball at the
Nope.
rack? Okay.
I'd actually-
Who was it?
Michigan State. They almost
Michigan
won.
Oh, they did.
They almost won. It
Yeah,
was a really
I'd like to talk
Michigan
about
State's
this comment from Steve Anzavino on our iTunes comment. Wrote, Jers, 5 stars.
What up?
Been listening to the podcast since
Jersey.
day one. Love y'all. Just figured out how to write a review. I tell my friends all the time that Jersey is one of the best football states in the country. I think they're top 5 behind Texas, Florida, and Cali. Jersey has all 3-star athletes since you were a high school. Jersey has all 3-star athletes. Well, why is it so hard for Rutgers to get these athletes?
Yeah.
It
Also-
wasn't when Greg Schiano was the coach.
Well,
Also, is
yeah.
it Taylor ham or pork roll?
Pork roll.
Oh.
What's a Taylor ham?
Taylor ham, egg and cheese is like a huge Jersey man working
But it's,
class
but it's
breakfast.
pork roll, egg and cheese.
Is it? Yeah, that's what
You
it is.
don't call it Taylor ham in Jersey.
No.
Pork roll, egg and cheese.
Sims, what
I
do
don't
you
know.
call it?
I don't eat that either way.
Yeah, you've never had eggs.
But I don't know. Up in my neck of the woods, they call it Taylor ham.
Are you sure about
yeah,
that?
I am sure
Are you
about
sure
that.
about that?
I am sure.
Because I'm pretty sure it's
Maybe
called
yours
pork
is
roll.
the Yiddish version.
It's
This is
not
how I'm
the
talking. The
you
non
mean that Jewish ham?
Yes, the Jewish ham.
Hashtag Jersey boy. Hashtag
Pork roll, egg and
freehold.
cheese, not
Jersey.
kosher.
We are in a phenomenal state of talent, basketball and football. We're not top 5, but we're like maybe 6 through 8,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Do you have any good 43s?
Troy Polamalu,
Oh, he's the number
the
one.
king, right? Another 43. Ooh, my dad's old teammate, Kennard. He was a safety.
Okay.
You don't have him on your list, do you? I love when I stump your list. Hassan Reddick.
He is. Congratulations.
Hold on.
From
Temple.
teammates with Robbie Anderson.
Oh, that's
Keep going.
important. But let's see. Other 43s. That's all I got off the top of my head.
Running backs, Fozzie Whitaker and Darren Sproles.
Oh, that's-
Defensemen,
damn,
Hassan
Sproles.
Riddick, Corey Moore, safety from Houston. John Johnson, a starting safety for the Rams.
Yeah.
Did you know that the starting safety for the Rams was named John Johnson?
I did, but I can't believe.
How do I not know the starting safety for one of the best teams in football?
Well, they've played
was-
around with that position a lot.
Oh, what have they been doing?
It's him. It's a few other guys they've
Gotcha.
messed around with.
Nate Ebner, Marcus Williams, safety for the Saints.
Damn.
TJ Ward, and George Iloka,
Shit.
who just had his suspension
There was more than I thought.
taken away.
I'm disappointed in myself.
All-time guys, Gerald Sensabaugh, some good name guys, Spider Lockhart, Pro Bowl punt returner for the Giants in the 60s and 70s. Don Perkins, 6-time Pro Bowl running back for the Cowboys in the 60s. Larry Brown, MVP in 1972 for Washington, running back.
I was going to say Larry Brown. He was not.
There's been a lot of Larry Browns in
Yeah,
sports.
yeah.
I mean, get
Right.
a new name.
Okay.
Cliff Harris, Dallas defensive back, 3-time All-Pro, 6-time Pro Bowler, 2-time Super Bowl champion with Dallas.
Right.
George Atkinson,
Yeah.
Raiders corner in the 70s,
Yeah.
and Polamalu. Polamalu might have the best highlight reel for when he goes into the Hall of Fame. The jumping over the center, the flying. He has picks and hard hits. I think he has a better highlight reel than Ed Reed.
Listen. You
Ed
know
Reed
my,
has a great highlight reel.
great highlight reel. This is two studs. And I played against both of them. and Ed Reed picked me off, and I don't think Polamalu did. But Polamalu is the best safety I ever played against, and that's not a knock on Ed Reed. Just the difference to me was the fact that it was the Steelers' defense. They did some crazy stuff, but Polamalu played at the line of scrimmage a lot more than Ed Reed. Ed Reed was your ultimate free safety.
Can you imagine if they played together?
Oh my gosh! I mean, two guys that just they were like quarterbacks. That's where Ed scared you. Ed wasn't on the line of scrimmage, but you were like. You would look at him and you'd be like, damn, I think he knows what play's coming. Like, he would scare you that way.
I would summarize those two guys with opposite sentences.
Yeah.
Ed Reed knew what you were going to do,
right?
And you never knew what Polamalu was going to do.
That's a good way to put it. It is.
They are complete opposites.
Definitely.
NBA guys, Chris Humphries, Kendrick Perkins, Michael Thompson, I believe the dad of Chris.
Yeah.
And Brad Dougherty, MLB, Dennis Eckersley.
Good old Brad Dougherty. The weirdest career path ever. Went from the NBA to ESPN talking about basketball, then went to NASCAR.
And became really successful in NASCAR.
He was like the NASCAR guy.
And has a voice that doesn't match him at all. He's like, hey, and then I saw Jeff Gordon driving around. I say, man, what you doing with all that stuff? Let's do a quick In Their Prime.
In Their Prime.
I don't remember who sent this in, but I apologize. Reggie White, In Their Prime, or Lawrence Taylor? Oh, this was actually from Reddit. Thank you, Reddit. Reggie White or Lawrence Taylor, in their prime.
They're two. We have to clarify. These are two different animals, okay? In the respectful way.
You just said Polamalu over Ed Reed in their prime.
I know, but this is Reggie White, 305 pounds, and this is Lawrence Taylor, outside linebacker, 255.
First pick of the Chris Sims
I'm taking
team.
Reggie White. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Ooh.
That's tough. I understand that, but Reggie White is. Gosh, just all the things he could do. He was a special human being to be that size, that powerful, and that quick off the edge. So all those things together, and I just think his career was more consistently at a high level than LT. LT, certainly, again, a game changer, a guy that you never saw in the league at that time. But Reggie was the same way.
Yeah.
I think Reggie was actually still more ahead of his time than Lawrence Taylor.
Wow.
Like, you know my thing I always say, like, and we'll ask my dad this, like, because he'd be a good person to answer
you're right.
that.
We should ask him that too.
But
yeah, Phil Simms coming up in a little bit.
But the big thing, like I say now, the game crazy, violent now, there's a Lawrence Taylor on every team now.
You're right.
I can't.
Yeah, 6'3", 250 is common.
It's pretty. There's not
6'3", 310.
Coming off the edge, he was 6'5", 305. That's not as common off the edge.
How close is Fletcher Cox to him physically?
He's every bit as powerful. Maybe he's more powerful, but he didn't have the Reggie could come around the edge and bend and
unreal.
Sack Phil Simms.
What?
Breaking news.
Is it
Roger
compliments to the
Goodell
BR
has
app?
signed a 5-year extension
How
to
much?
remain NFL commissioner. Do you guys want to take guesses on how much?
Is it per year or total?
All we have is, let's see.
What's the guarantee?
It's 5
What
years.
happens
You're asking me a lot of
What
questions.
happens if they cut him after 2 years?
It's 5 years, $250 million.
It says Darren Rovell of ESPN has reported
If that's the answer, I still want to guess.
the 5-year deal could be worth. This is an annual, but it's not an exact number.
I'm going to say they negotiated it down to 45.
It says it could be worth twice as much annually as the first 10 years that he was commissioner.
What the fuck? I want a number. That's not
Well,
fun.
how much was he making now?
45.
So it could be $90 million a year. Is that what that means? Twice as much annually? That seems absurd.
You're supposed to get this information before you break
Okay,
in
I
news.
wanted to break in with the news. I'm sorry. I wanted to do the. I'll find out.
Albert, what are you looking at over here?
I'm looking at Twitter to find out what's going on.
You're following Albert Breer?
What? 200 million for 5. So they got him down to 40 million a year.
Whoa.
So then that's wrong from Darren Rovell.
That's good negotiation by the league right there. 40 million. 40 million for Roger Goodell.
Yeah.
40 million
for him.
to get yelled at by everybody.
Yelled at by Jerry.
And did he get the private jet?
I'm sure he did.
I'll find out.
We have a few staples on this podcast. Beans, not beef. Never play on turf. Aaron Rodgers, the greatest quarterback we've ever seen. And Kyle Shanahan is our favorite coach in the NFL. And right now, in Kyle Shanahan land, it is all about Jimmy G. Jimmy Garoppolo, a.k.a. Joe Montana. Two amazing stories about Jimmy Garoppolo that I'd like to share with you. The 49ers were so impressed with Jimmy Garoppolo yesterday, this is from Jim Trotter, after their win, on Sunday,
Right.
that wide receiver Marquise Goodwin, with other players cheering, offered to get up and give Garoppolo his first row seat on the team bus when Garoppolo boarded. When asked about what Jimmy Garoppolo brings in the locker room, Marquise Goodwin simply pointed at Jimmy Garoppolo and responded, "Just look at him." That is where they are with Jimmy G.
Yeah.
He is getting a standing ovation when he walks on the bus.
Right.
Players are going, look at him. He's our quarterback.
That's what a quarterback
How
can do.
How dope is that?
That is dope. I mean, it's
dope.
awesome. He came in and he saved the day. I mean, been there for 4 or 5 weeks. Probably doesn't even know the full extent of the offense. Probably doesn't really know what Kyle's thinking, because that's the next thing that really will go on. Their conversations, he's going to be like an extension of Kyle, and Kyle's going to know why, or Garoppolo's going to know why Kyle would want to check against this or stay into this play when they bring this blitz, whatever it may be. But, hey, he gave their team a totally different look. We know that.
You think Beathard's okay with this?
Well,
everyone's worried about the benching of Eli. What about the benching of Beathard?
Oh, no, these expensive quarterbacks and their fragile minds. I think the reason – there's no easy way to put this, so I'm just going to say it. The reason this team loves Jimmy Garoppolo is because they've been watching a third-string quarterback in C.J. Beathard, plain and simple. I mean, my friend might not like that I've said that about C.J. Beathard, but that's just the truth. He's not quality, and now they're seeing quality, and they're going, holy cow, we're a different offense.
I think what Kyle Shanahan did was genius. When you start a new job, the first few months, you don't want to show all your potential, because then you have to operate at that. So you put in C.J. Beathard, and you suck for like the first 10 games, and now all of a sudden, man, the momentum going into the offseason.
Are you suggesting that's actually...
No.
Okay, I'm just making sure.
Come on. Danny Young, Niner Nation, iTunes. Hey, boys, love the show. Listen to all 3 shows every week as soon as they come out. Never change.
What up, D. Young?
We won't change. Question for Sims. Is Garoppolo the future of the Niners? And more importantly, is Trent Taylor a white boy supreme?
Oh, he is a white boy supreme. Let's end that discussion right now. And Jimmy Garoppolo is the future of the 49ers.
Damn.
Again, I got a lot of faith in Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, one, he has talent. I think he has the type of talent that fits the Shanahan scheme. He's certainly going to be detailed, professional, understand what it's like to be a franchise quarterback on a day-to-day basis, because he's got to sit there and watch Tom Brady and be in New England, which forces you.
Amazing in the jersey.
He looks the part. That goes into it too.
I was having this discussion with people in the kitchen on Sunday. I said, you know what Sims always says?
Yeah.
That good quarterbacks are attractive.
Right.
And you believe that.
I mean, I think good players are attractive usually. That's my thing, right?
Then do you just say people like Peyton Manning are an outlier?
Well, yeah, occasionally there's an outlier out there. Yes, he's not exactly your alpha male handsome guy.
So you
he's alpha, but yes, I do.
You legitimately believe there is a direct correlation. The more attractive you are, the better you can
I mean,
be.
it's not 100%, but if you go Tom Brady, Odell Beckham Jr., Jalen Ramsey, I don't really care. You look through it, yes.
But hold on, it's not about their attractiveness necessarily. It's more about how they look in the jersey.
No, I'm actually saying they're actual.
They're good
he says the makeup of their face. When
I think if you look at most stars and you look at their face, pro sports, they're usually pretty handsome guys.
I'll never forget the draft 2 years ago when we saw what Brashad Perryman looked like. Sims went, I don't think he's going to be good. And I went, why? He goes, he's kind of an ugly guy. That was what Sims said.
For all the good analysis that you provide,
every now and then it's got to be simple.
The most unscientific thing you've ever offered.
Hit us up on Twitter or Instagram at Sims and Lefkoe.
With ugly stars.
Yeah, ugly, good NFL players.
Yeah,
and we're gonna have
there's
Sims
a few of them out there. Like Fletcher Cox is probably going to fall into the.
No, he's not ugly. I think Fletcher Cox is kind of cute.
He's good for the big like Shrek kind of way. Yes, I understand. Julian Edelman, whatever way. Sapp is.
Was Sapp a good-looking guy?
For a big fatty, I think he's like in that Fletcher Cox area where, they're kind of like, for a 305-pound fatty, yes.
For everyone to know, for our pick show for Week 14, we are having Warren Sapp. And Sims has been texting him, and it's going to become a new staple.
Yes.
We're going to do Fill-In Time with Warren Sapp. We haven't thought of a new name for a segment, so we're going to give him the same segment title as Phil Sims.
Well, he just texted me, and I told him that we're both going to ask you one question, and then we want you to rant about one thing that bothers you from the previous week or a media theme from the week. And he wrote, LOL, whatever, brudda. Yeah, so he's down.
And also, I am going to have a surprise for you tomorrow. A present.
Oh, a surprise.
Can't tell you, though.
Okay.
Are you nervous?
No.
Good. So we had great quotes about Jimmy Garoppolo. Let's talk about our other guy, Aaron Rodgers. I would like Josh to read this quote from rookie running back Jamal Williams about seeing Aaron Rodgers back at practice. Let's hear Jamal Williams talk about Aaron Rodgers at practice.
Quote, that boy, he came back and he just flicked it, running back Jamal Williams said. Quote, I was like, dang. I was like, wow. Are you sure that man is injured? I was like, that is far. I couldn't even do that on my good day. I mean, He flicked it. I feel like he didn't even throw it. He just flicked it, end quote.
And that is rookie Jamal Williams about seeing Aaron Rodgers at practice. Clearly very impressed.
Clearly.
He just flicked it.
I don't know anybody that hasn't watched Aaron Rodgers physically that doesn't just, in awe. I mean, it's
Just
that
drooling all over themselves.
It's like watching, Michael Jordan in his prime hit a fadeaway J, whatever it may be. It's that status, yes.
Yeah, I love that quote, and he's just completely shocked.
It's amazing. There's two instances we're seeing quarterbacks that are, special or have the look. Jimmy G's not there yet.
Yeah,
but
it brings me back.
Shows you the confidence it gives a team.
I want to get Malcolm Jenkins on this show because if you'll remember, I was there when the Eagles traded Sam Bradford to the Vikings.
Oh, yeah.
I was at Malcolm Jenkins' house, and he was so pissed because he was like, "I am coming. Like I'm a vet. I want to win now." And I would love to know what he thinks now of Carson Wentz.
Yeah, sure.
We gotta find a way to get him on.
Yeah,
let's get him on.
Good old Jersey guy.
I'll call him.
So the one thing we need to talk about now is what happened on Monday Night Football, and this will lead us into Phil Sims coming onto the podcast. Some updates. George Iloka, his suspension has been rescinded.
Good.
Juju Smith-Schuster's suspension has been upheld.
Good.
Let me just go through what happened for everyone that didn't see it, and if you didn't, I'm sure you've been seeing it on social media or on ESPN. Monday Night Football, early on the game, Ryan Shazier was making a tackle. As he went down to the ground, it looked like his entire body gave out. We came back from commercial. Sean McDonough told us that his bottom half of his body did not move at all. We have been kind of paying attention to that. He has since tweeted out that he's doing somewhat okay, but we do not know the details yet of how he's doing. Later on in the game, Vontaze Burfict was coming across to try and make a tackle on a receiver. Juju Smith-Schuster leveled him, dove in, shoulder into his chest, knocked him out, and stood over him. Towards the end of the game, might have been the same drive, Antonio Brown caught a touchdown, and George Iloka dove helmet-to-helmet, 15-yard penalty, and it was crazy.
Right.
Let me go to you first from facts, and I'm going to give my opinions.
Okay.
Number one. First of all, I hope Ryan Shazier is okay.
Yeah, of course we do.
There's no debating that.
That's the scariest thing for any football player. It's the thing that is number one in your mind.
Your
fearful.
body just gives out.
It's the spinal cord injury is the number one thing that scares all players because that's when shit gets personal. I don't care. We're soldiers and we're tough, whatever. You start to think of the guy's personal life as he's sitting there going, damn, his poor wife. Damn, I hope he's not in a wheelchair. And it starts to make you think about your personal life as well.
Did you believe that the Juju Smith-Schuster should have been a penalty? We'll just start off with the base.
Yes.
Do you believe that Juju should have been suspended one game?
Yes.
Ben came out and said Gronk should get a harsher punishment than Juju.
Yes.
That's what everyone's talking about right now is how does Juju get one game and Gronk gets one game?
That's a justifiable
question. Your issue there isn't with Juju. You still believe Juju should be suspended, but maybe Gronk should have gotten more.
Think the Juju Smith-Schuster thing, I think like this. It wasn't like it was still within the confines of football, right? The guy was there not far from Le'Veon Bell running the football. Now, but we got to get that play out of our league because it is barbaric, okay?
The crackback block.
The crackback jump up and his crown of his helmet hits him in the chin, okay? To do that at that level when all you needed to do is really just stand there or just give a little shoulder shrug and you're going to knock him to the ground with the way he's running at you.
George Iloka, you did not think was a personal foul penalty, or you did not think was a suspension.
I don't think it's a suspension.
He's being suspended he's being fined like $35,000.
Well, this is where my issue with that play comes in. First of all, this is where I really feel bad for defensive players. Your whole job, your whole week is being told, separate the man from the ball. Don't let anybody come across the middle and make a play. Okay, it's the biggest fucking play of the game, refs and NFL fucking people over in the NFL office. Oh, what was he supposed to do? Give him the two-hand touch to not let him score the game-winning or game-tying fucking touchdown? That's what drives me crazy. So now he's going to lose $35,000 on a play. Well, what did they want him to do? Just dive and maybe throw his hand out there and, oh, you caught it. Oh, darn. I mean, this is the play where, yes, we don't want it. I get it. And we're trying to clean it up. And players are doing their best. But for him to lose $35,000 on that, I do have an issue with that. When you're being coached, and this is the part of the game where I wish they would just go, listen, we'd hear the receivers say it all the time. I'd rather you hit me in the head.
You're right.
Okay, so this
Then
is
the
where
legs,
let's
'cause
sign the waiver, everybody.
So
you come across the middle, and it's a natural football play. And I'm not talking about like the ball goes 40 yards over his head or bounces three times, and then you get leveled. This was bam, bam. I caught the ball to tie the game.
I have one more question before I give you my 3 big takeaways from this. What was Juju supposed to do? Because Vontaze was running directly at him. Was he supposed to act like a basketball player and back up with him?
Right.
Was he supposed to block him gently?
Yeah.
Because
that's why I just said he didn't have to launch. All he had to do was stand there, lower his shoulder, or just give a shoulder shrug. But when he got close and he knew, I know he says he didn't know it was 55, but I find that hard to believe, especially when his boys are Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown. They do the 3-man celebration touchdown every week together, so they're boys.
And then Antonio Brown after the game was yelling karma in the locker room.
Right, and I get that. It's hard. This is not the group that's going to feel bad for Vontaze Burfict. And Vontaze Burfict, it is karma. He's done this to a lot of players. But the last thing is just saying, he didn't have to see him coming, squat down, and then just absolutely explode launch into his upper chest chin area.
Isn't that a defense mechanism though?
Don't
you want to throw yourself?
You don't have to throw yourself and launch at his lower part of his head. And plus, in this day and age, first of all, too, the game is bigger, faster, more violent than ever. And this is the part of the game that moms and dads are watching and go, damn, I don't want my little boy to play this sport. Damn.
So here's my big
thing. So that's where we got to get it out. Just block him. You don't have to kill him.
Let's admit this.
Right.
The Ryan Shazier injury, if that never happened, we would not be debating as much the Juju hit and the Aloka hit.
Why?
Because the Shazier injury brought morality back into football.
Oh, okay.
It was the instant realization of, oh no, this can hurt them. I'll get to that in a second. Here are my 3 big things. One,
I think that's his fault.
I'm fascinated by the dynamic of Juju and Burfict.
Right.
Juju, to me, 1, his name is Juju.
Yeah.
2, he's a rookie. 3, he lost his bicycle. 4, he's been the celebration king. 5, he's been a darling.
Right.
Vontaze Burfict is the Debo of the NFL. He is the bad boy bully that just got knocked the hell out by Craig, the really good rookie, fresh face that everyone loves.
Got off the stretcher and wanted to come back in.
To me, it is so fascinating because it is hard to make Vontaze Burfict the victim.
Yeah.
It's very hard to have sympathy and empathy for Vontaze Burfict.
It is.
And we've rooted for Juju all year. So that dynamic, the fact that it was him hitting him, was fascinating.
Yeah.
Number 2, I do not think I've seen a worse PR hit in an evening for one league. This was the worst thing for football I can ever tell you. Let me say it to you without players' names.
Yeah.
What if I told you that in one game, one of the top 3 contenders for Defensive Player of the Year may have been paralyzed on the field, then we had announcers of the NFL on a game in which it was the only thing being played saying the phrases, sickening, I hate this type of football, and shame on him, degrading the play of the league and further enforcing how tough and dangerous this game is. And then you have a Super Bowl winning quarterback after the game have the quote, plays like this make you evaluate things. I hope my son plays golf.
That's what Ben said?
Think about those 3 things in one night.
Yeah.
A star might not walk again. The announcers say it's disgusting, and then a quarterback comes out and says, I want my son to play golf.
And then the star receiver gets hit in the head, too, to even add a...
And then Antonio Brown's on the field, and we're worried about concussions. For me, the NBA just went, mic drop. I thought all of those things. That was the worst thing ever. And the third thing that I have is a question that, oddly enough, Fendrick and I had for each other on a walk to lunch last week.
Okay.
How can I root for football anymore when all I think about when I see big hits is CTE? When that hit happened with Juju Smith-Schuster, I tweeted out, holy crap, what a hit.
Right.
And I immediately got all these tweets going, how can you be so callous? This is insane. What about the brain damage? I wasn't thinking about any of that shit. I think what Sims always thinks is these guys know what they've signed up for. They know it. And honestly, when a guy gets hurt, I am so grateful for the fact that they are playing this game so hard and risking everything for my entertainment. So I actually think it's super, not it's like not appreciative to immediately go, you hit him like that and now you're not gonna be able to walk in. Like, this sport is so stupid. Like, no, we need to appreciate these guys for putting themselves in this situation and risking their lives for us.
Yes.
Now I get it with Juju because you're going, Vontaze didn't sign up to have his clock cleaned blindsided like that. But I don't know, man. Like, I still reacted like, how can I root for this sport anymore if I immediately have to think about long-term CTE?
All right, but you don't. Stop thinking about that. You've heard the 112 worst horror stories of guys that donated their head donated their brains, or their families donated their brains because they went off the edge as far as some of their mental capabilities, or they committed suicide. So you have the worst case scenarios. We're going to talk to dumbass Phil Simms here in a minute, who had no rules protecting him, and he can talk. You can't shut him up.
But this is the dilemma
I know.
for new NFL fans.
I know.
Me and him. I mean, you feel it all the time.
Yeah, I do feel it all the time. And not to go back to the Rutgers game, but Eric LeGrand was at the game last night, and they bring him in the wheelchair. They sit him right behind the court, and I look at the guy, and I'm like, shit, like, how am I supposed to watch these games when he's paralyzed playing football for Rutgers?
Really
I know.
conflicting.
It's hard to look
know.
at him.
I
It's hard
get
to
it.
look at him.
Because
get it.
I love Ronnie Lott. I love Jacked Up.
Right.
I love the big hits.
Right.
And I still think they're fucking cool.
Yes.
I still want to cheer.
Well, that's great. Cheer, but don't cheer on the ones that, like a crackback block like that, he could have done differently. He could have just exploded into his stomach or chest, whatever
I
it
think
may
that
have
if
been.
Shazier didn't get hurt and Juju didn't stand over him,
Yeah.
I don't think Juju would be suspended. When you stand over a guy, it implies intent.
It
Yeah.
implies
that
you
he
were
was
ragefully-
planning, he was
yeah.
waiting for it.
Yeah.
But if he didn't stand over him, I do not think he'd be suspended.
I hear you. The Shazier thing, see, now, it's not like that was a grossly violent tackle.
was just
That
part
was
of the game.
his fault in lowering his head, right? And he just got caught in the wrong spot with his head down, and then he hit it right on the guy's hip.
So what would you say to NFL fans out there that are like, I want to root for big hits, but I don't want people to think I'm a fucking monster?
Root for big hits, but don't root for mercenary big hits where a guy has no idea it's coming, and then he gets launched at his head out of nowhere when he's 15 or 5 yards from the play or whatever. He has no effect
I thought he hit
on
him
it.
in the chest.
So he
I
didn't.
thought Juju hit him in the chest.
He did not.
Did you? I just saw this on Bleacher Report a little
Yeah.
bit earlier. The NFL is considering starting a target rule because of Monday Night Football, similar to college football.
They're going to kick guys. So my issue with the whole thing, too, now, George Ialoka, like, I don't even know where they go with that. I just don't even – it's so unfair to me. I don't understand where they're going to go with that. We need to call my dad, by the way.
Yeah, let's call him.
But I
Give Big Phil a call.
it almost makes
Fire
me
away,
think the team
Steinmetz.
needs to be suspended, too. It's not fair to take it away from the player when the coaches are all saying that. Like, I just don't know. And as we're calling him, look at this. This is what I
this
want
the
both
Gronk
of you
play?
to see. This is Gronk play. Okay, so here we are on film. Now
Okay.
look, he's pissed because he got pass interfered with, no doubt. And he gets up and he rips off his chin strap because he's going, damn, why wasn't there pass interference? But now there's Tre'Davious White.
Yeah.
He's half of his body is out of bounds.
Hello?
Oh, I'm sorry. I picked up. I'll call back.
No,
What's
it's
up,
okay.
Mom?
How are you? How are you, Mrs. Sims?
Hi, honeys. How are you?
Oh, we're so good. I have a question. Is it hard to watch like the really big tackles in the NFL, or do you kind of enjoy it when they hit each other hard?
Give your honest answer, Mom.
Well, I don't want anybody to get hurt.
Right.
But I like tackling.
Yes, she
I
does.
agree.
She's old school. She's an 80s wife.
Yeah, Mrs. Sims gets it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. All right. Well, that was the way to put it, Mom.
All right, so we should call back, or do you just want to like yell for him?
No. You better please out in the office waiting.
All right.
Okay, okay.
All right. We'll call
We'll
back.
call back.
All right, bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Mrs. Sims.
Bye, Mom.
Bye. I want some Lunchables.
But
all right, so
run it back for us,
Steinmetz.
Call
Steinmetz.
back one more time, Steiny.
All right, so he's kind of still in the play field.
No, yeah. Well, I mean, his upper
so you're
body
saying
is
he's
out of
tackling.
bounds. I mean, he's out of bounds, dude.
Okay, but he could have reached down and just touched him.
He's already been touched, and he saw the guy touch him too.
All right, so what are you trying to show us then?
I'm just saying that was when I watched it on film, it's just dirtier than I expected on TV.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were trying to explain
This
it.
angle
No.
is...
So how many games should Gronk have been
Gronk
suspended?
should have got 2 games at least. He really should have. Yeah. I mean, if you're going to suspend Juju Smith-Schuster for a play that kind of went in within the confines of football, right?
I don't think that Juju should have gotten the same amount of games as Gronk diving at the back of Tre'Davious White's head or Mike Evans diving into the back of Marshawn Lattimore.
Agreed.
I thought both of those were more egregious.
Agreed.
It's just, but this is the NFL.
It is.
The
It's all
rules
over
are
the
always
place.
freaking random.
Well, first off, Tom Coughlin would find both of you.
Well, we called. We talked to the cooler.
No. You're still late.
Tom Coughlin don't run this.
Did you hear
Who picked up the phone?
Dirty Diana Sims?
I mean, come on. You've lived in his house, son. She wouldn't pick up the phone if she was 1 foot away from it.
I don't know. You've said that twice in 3 weeks.
It's okay. I'm going to say it again. I know I repeated myself. I'm not that old. I know what I'm saying.
See, he doesn't have CTE. There's a perfect example. I
There
told
you.
you.
Hold on. Did you hear the phone ring and then it stopped and you went, "Oh, my wife picked it up"?
Yeah, I can't believe it.
He went, "Gosh damn it, Diana."
Will somebody please pick up the phone?
Gosh damn it, Diana.
Wow. Yeah, you got me down. That was pretty good, Adam.
No, that was
was
Chris.
me.
That was Chris.
Oh, is that Christopher? Oh,
That was
sorry.
Christopher.
Okay.
Phil, so the eternal question we're asking right now is, I love big hits. I love Ronnie Lott. And now I'm conflicted because I know what happens to these guys long term. And Monday night, I'm not going to lie, I was sitting there going, this game is kind of awesome. It's physical and it's crazy. And then afterwards, I feel guilty about feeling that way. And I'm just kind of asking for advice. What do you think? How should I watch football now?
Oh, that's interesting. I'm conflicted too. Of course, it was played that way, but we got too much research and we know too much now to let it continue.
Right.
So I'm going to go that way.
Okay.
And was Iloka's hit, was that retaliation? I don't know. Was he quick enough in thinking that in that drive?
And that was a big play. Like, what's he supposed to do? That's my problem there. I mean, he's being coached to separate the ball from the receiver all week, and it's the biggest play of the game.
Yes, listen, I understand.
Yeah.
And I know.
Yeah.
And, Ray Lewis, it's a good thing on Showtime there was a desk between me and him. Because, not that he was really mad, but he was just saying, look, that's what you have as a defender. Your physical presence when you're a linebacker and a defensive back is so much about who you are as a team. And he explained it extremely well.
Right.
And I went, wow. He goes, that's our main weapon, that you got to worry about me as you cross the field, that I'm going to hit you.
Right.
And so I understand that. But, the long term, the physical well-being, all those other things, at this stage of life and where we are in football, that has to outweigh the other part. And does it hurt the defenders? Yes. But you know what? We just got to live with it. And these big hits, we see more of them now than maybe ever before. And why would that be?
Because the players are bigger and stronger now than ever before.
Okay, they are, but what else, my little geniuses? Tell me.
Well, what else?
Is it the confidence in the helmet and padding technology?
No, everybody says that. If you took the helmets off these NFL players, they'd still stick their head in there because they want to keep their job and they want to play, and they're men who want to, they love the game and love to be physical.
Is it because
The rule
millennials
changes,
just
Go ahead. Why?
the whole makeup of the game, and we spread the field more and more. So now we're giving defenders, instead of getting 5 yards, we're going to give you 20 to run full speed. And now what happens?
Right.
And
Big
to
collisions.
me, that
Right.
is one of the biggest things that we're seeing.
So because they have more ground to cover, it's more ground to pick up speed to deliver that hit instead of playing in a phone booth.
Listen, you can see it all over
interesting.
the field in many, many plays every single week. I watch these defensive backs, safeties, and linebackers who are, 15 years ago or 20 years ago would be fast running backs.
Right.
And you give them time, and just take a great middle linebacker who has speed, or a safety. And there's an outside throw now, one of those bubble screens. They come across the field so fast.
Oh, man.
If anybody gets in their way, they blow him up and the receiver. And, they're used to seeing it, but we're seeing downsizing of a lot of linebackers in the NFL. Why? Because they just want more speed.
Pass.
Cover more ground, because we spread the field more, because we changed the rules, and now the NFL is more about passing the football, and, we want to make sure it's exciting,
Yep.
get more scoring.
Yep.
So this is some of the effects you get.
Big Phil, in their prime, LT or Reggie White?
Well, I can't answer that.
Why?
Well, because Lawrence was one of my good friends.
They're both your
great
good friends.
teammate. They were both great players. I never got to play against Lawrence, but Lawrence ran by me one day in practice, and of course he would have sacked me if it was real. And as he was walking back, I looked at him. He goes, "Man, I just want to hit you once." do it. So, but Reggie White was the best defensive player I ever played against, and of course had to face. And you know what? I was talking to somebody earlier today. When you have a great defensive player, what do? Just like on offense, you find ways to to give him chances to make plays. And Buddy Ryan was awesome at it. You were not going to be able to double-team Reggie White.
Right.
Because he lined up everywhere, and he was going to be single-blocked every time, and he was going to hit the quarterback. I don't care what you did.
Right.
That is really the sign. Good coaching is putting your best players in different positions.
Right.
We see it with wide receivers. We see it with
I talk
defensive
about it all
linemen.
the time. I watch Khalil Mack, and think about him. He's terrific, and that's why I came up. I was talking about him at the Raiders with a friend of mine. And I just go, man, put him in spots where he can just beat somebody one-on-one.
Right.
When you want to double-team him, there he is. We can do it. We'll chip him and all this.
We
you
talked
gotta
about
do
Michael
more.
Bennett for years. Michael Bennett was that guy for years. I'm kind of ambushing the interview with your dad. Do you have a
No,
That's
it's
okay,
all right.
but you know what? That's what coaching does. Coaching is really huge in the NFL as much as any sport because it can take really good players who have the talent, and a coach can turn them into a star.
Well, all right. So you're on Reggie. So just talk about Reggie for a minute because people are going to like to listen to all right, so when you drop back and you played the Eagles, when you said set hut and you started your drop back, did you take a little peek at Reggie coming around the edge to see what kind of get off he got? What did he, the dead weight rule on the quarterback is because Reggie sacking you, I believe he sacked you more than any quarterback in his career. But
That's a great stat to bring up, son.
Yeah, no problem. But what was it like playing against him? And then what would he say to you after
he hit me in 1988?
Right.
At Giant Stadium.
Right.
And he got me, put his arms around me. I couldn't move either arm.
Right.
And I went down shoulder first, and Big Reggie was laying arms and feet straight out in the air, and he just. I called it, he dead fished me. He was going to flatten me.
Right.
Did you break your clavicle?
He was great at it. He separated my shoulder. I had to leave the game, and we ended up losing.
Right.
And but they changed that rule in 1995 is when they took it out. But I can say this with 100% honesty. I never peeked at him one single time as I dropped back.
Good
Really?
for you.
Not once. Because I don't know. It's just, look.
It's like when I have a narrow lead in fantasy on Monday night. I don't look and see if they're catching up.
His tackles must have been better because I peeked at Julius Peppers all the time.
Phil, I have one last question for you.
Smarter as the game went along, and we were just, punishment was just part of life.
Yeah, back then they just took it
all the time. Stand in there and take the hit. And now they say, don't take the hit. Why didn't somebody tell me that during my
right.
Phil, I need you to unload your Adam Schefter notebook. What do you know about the Giants right now? Come on.
Oh, I don't know anything.
What kind of guy are they looking for, do you think? You know the Maras. Do you think they want an old guy? You think they want a young guy? You think they want a guy with experience? Like, where do you think?
What's old? They're not going to go out and hire some 60-year-old coach. That's
okay.
For sure.
What a guy that's been a head coach.
I think it comes down to two things. First off, let me ask you, Adam.
Okay, I'm happy to answer it for you.
You're a great fan and everything. You're up here in the Northeast.
Yep, I'm a genius.
When you think of the Giants and their history, what do you think of?
Being worse than the Eagles. No, I think about, look, I always hear the Maras want to do it the right way, and it's about respect. And I guess I think about, long-term good quarterback play, a good pass rush.
Baze, come on, man.
What?
In history, all the Bill part, it's about
defense.
Man, we're going to be big and tough.
Yeah.
We play in New York. We're in the Northeast, and it's about defense. So I would never count that out when I think about them hiring a coach. So do you want to get back to that, or are we going to be,
what would you do?
Worry about the offense? So, of course, they can go either way.
What would you do, Phil?
I think of the New York Giants playing for them, of course, for all those years, and, learning and playing a lot of times to our defense and, kind of taking back away from us to help our defense at times or whatever. But that's what I think of. That's what I think of New York. That's what I think of the Giants. Sam Huff. all the guys through the years and especially our era, it was about defense and everything else kind of was catered to help that defense.
Right.
So that could be one way, or I'm not dodging the question. I don't know. I think it can go anywhere. But I will say this.
Oh.
Here we go.
Okay, here we go.
The coach and general manager, I said it on Showtime last night, I think they have to be married. They both have to kind of be hired together, and they have to stay together on the same page. Christopher, you guys know that general managers, if things go bad, what do they say? What are they telling everybody in the front office?
They're blaming the coaches usually behind
you
closed.
dang right they are. Well,
Right.
hey, we're drafting great players,
Yeah.
and we're getting them all this talent,
Right.
and we've scouted them, and we're right, and it's the coach's fault.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so then you get division. So the coach and the general manager got to be together and picking the players, and they got to live and die with the results, and come in together and go out together.
Yep.
And that puts a lot of pressure on both. Puts a lot of pressure on the general manager to make sure he's really in step with the coach and exactly what the coach needs as he coaches his football team his way. So
Phil,
that's just one of my pet peeves because I know you guys hear it. I hear it all the time.
Yeah.
There's a great article in Bill Walsh's book, or not article, page or chapter about the whole workings of all that. And it kind of goes into just exactly that.
Sims, I'll tell you what, man. You could be what about I'm the GM, you're the coach? You down? We can take over the Giants, flip this thing?
No, I don't want to coach. Nope.
All right, well.
Bo can't do it.
I'll go in with
Sit back
Christopher
and,
then.
I'm going to do what I'm doing.
All right, good.
Boomer
Which
really
is yelling
wants
at
me
us.
to get a job with the Giants.
Boomer does?
Oh, sure. He wants to get rid of me. I mean, he's just like, please hire this guy. No, Boomer, I'm going to try to remain a thorn in your side as long as possible.
Good.
So,
All right,
Phil, you're the
we're
man.
done with you.
you done with me?
We're done with you.
I like how y'all in these. Hey, all right, we're done with you, and then you hang up. So good.
All right.
Great talking to you, Adam.
Hey, you
Christopher.
too.
I'll see you later, man.
See you, Dad. See you good.
He's not going to coach the Giants, huh?
No, he doesn't.
We can
want
rule
it.
that out.
Okay.
No, he thought about coaching at the end of his career. I mean, like people thought that, again, the Al Davis story from last year or whatever, when people were like, yeah, sure. I can remember that happening.
Al Davis calling your dad
and my dad being on the phone with him for like 2 straight days for like 4 hours each time.
to possibly coach the Giants. That's what he did
To
to Warren
coach
Sapp.
the Raiders, yeah.
Oh, to coach. That's what he did to
Yeah.
Warren Sapp.
Yeah.
He was like, I'm not getting off the phone
He
until
thought
Warren Sapp's a Raider.
Thought he might go work for Bill Parcells when he was at the Jets. And
You guys are talkers, not coachers.
that was it's hard, especially, I mean, he was like me. It was just a young family, and do you want to do that?
Speaking of suspension, so Marcus Peters was suspended.
Yeah.
For one game for kind of leaving the field.
Right.
How Marcus Peters was Jalen Ramsey last year.
Yeah.
Marcus Peters was number 1 in the Chris Sims cornerback rankings, and I've never seen a guy fall off this fast.
Yeah, the defense stinks right now. The pass rush, there's none of that there as well. He's not being attacked. He's still really good. There's no doubt about that. He's dangerous, but he's got to change some of his approach in general anyways. Like playing off and being able to look at the receiver and also look at the quarterback and do that. Yeah, that's great, and you're scary that way, Marcus Peters, but every now and then you got to get in people's faces and try to disrupt the release and do something along those lines as well.
Imps has a iTunes comment about suspensions. If a team suspends a player, would the league still suspend him or add on to it? For example, if Del Rio suspended Crabtree for one game, would the league have added to that, or would they have stuck with the suspension from the Raiders?
Oh, I think the league would still have to do it from their end, right? Just because you're not following the rules.
And then you have the Jimmy Smith situation where he gets busted for PEDs and then tears his Achilles and goes, oh, no, I'm just going to take that suspension now instead of going on the IR.
But can they do that?
I think so.
So they're going to save a roster spot for him?
I think so.
Are they really?
Get rid of the suspension.
That's interesting. I mean, again, the PED thing, that really pisses me off. They need to make it public. They need to embarrass guys. You're fucking cheating. Sorry.
You are fucking cheating.
Yeah.
Let us get to some of Sims's film breakdown.
Ooh.
Sims's film breakdown.
Dude, it's cold as shit in here.
You have...
Better than when it was hot in
I
here.
don't know. I kind of like it slot. He was still sweating.
I'm
You
always
like
sweating.
it what?
I kind of slot? Is that what I said?
Yeah, slot?
I like it
slot.
actually warm.
Was that a combination of sweaty and hot?
Yeah, something like that.
Jets Chiefs, you wrote Reva still can't and won't tackle,
Right.
but I've never seen you more upset with coaching decisions as you were with the Jets. Tyreek Hill should have broken the NFL record for receiving yards. It's comical. Did the Jets watch film?
I don't know what the Jets were doing on defense. The Jets literally lined up the first play of the game, and I was like, what? Like, I was literally like, this is the one defense I wouldn't play to start the game, right here. Oh, yeah, Morris Claiborne in the face of Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill won't be able to run by him, coach. Are you fucking kidding me? I mean, it was just insane, the coverages. It was man-to-man bump, and it was quarters coverage, which quarters can a lot of
The
times
worst
become
for crossers.
Crossers, deep posts, go
Yeah.
routes. You can end up singling out the corner, and he ends up playing like man-to-man.
That's why it's so hard to predict games, because you go, well, we know the Jets will be smart and won't play man-to-man on Tyreek Hill. I mean, we'll sit here with Buster's screen and go, oh, you're afraid of Tyreek Hill's speed, and then they won't do that. And then they do it.
They do it.
It reminded me the same of the Eagles-Seahawks.
He missed.
Well, the one thing you're not going to do is blitz Russell Wilson and play man-to-man, and then they do that.
Yeah, I know.
I just don't know what these coaches are thinking.
I don't know
sometimes.
either, and there's reason. It's not like they're idiots, but I mean, we've watched Kansas City struggle against certain type defenses for the last 6 weeks, and they said, well, fuck those struggles. We're going to make them struggle more, and we're going to play this. What? Alex Smith should have thrown for 500 yards. I know everybody's going to look at it and go, what a day. 135 rating and 19 for 33 and 366 and 14.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, if Tom Brady was the quarterback of the Chiefs, it would have been 31 of 33 for 600 yards, and they would have scored 70 points.
He missed them a lot.
He missed them, or he doesn't want to throw it, or whatever it may be.
So even when Alex Smith plays well,
it was all game long. People wide open everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere.
Indy, Jacksonville.
And the Chiefs defense is embarrassing too.
Of course it is.
I mean, holy crap.
You wrote the Colts secondary is full of cast-offs and fuck-ups, which I really enjoyed. And then you said you actually gave a little blueprint to how to attack Jacksonville's defense.
Yeah.
Only way to make life hard on the Jags D is to stay patient with the run. They play an 8-man box, but they're making pass defense calls.
Right.
It's really only to scare you.
Right.
Interesting.
It is
So
interesting.
you have to just
I've
run
written
it
that
at 'em.
before, but yes, I do. I think it's the one way you can slow them down. Like we saw, I'm trying to pull up their schedule.
Well, the Seahawks can't do that.
No, the Seahawks can't do that, but they have the jack of all trades with
Yeah.
Mr. Russell Wilson. I mean, the thing that I think jumps out to me, not only that game, but the Arizona game the week before, didn't Arizona ran the ball a lot as well? At least they
Yes.
kept the temps up.
Yeah,
But-
Peterson didn't do anything, but he was running the ball
yeah,
a
he
lot.
didn't do anything. Exactly right. But I think the thing I look at more than
Yeah, I
anything
saw Frank Gore getting some pushes.
they did well, and Marlon Mack broke
Yeah.
a big run too. I think the thing that is yes, they play 8-man front, so they try to scare you with the bodies, and you go, well, we're not going to run the ball into an 8-man front. Let's throw it. But they're really calling a pass defense, and they're calling pass rush stunts up front too, within that 8-man front. Going, they're not going to run it to the 8-man front.
You went back and watched the film.
I went
Rob
back.
Gronkowski, was he actually held a lot?
Yes, constantly. I mean, on that play, he was pass interference twice, so I understand his frustration. He was literally held off the line of scrimmage, got away, started running, made his break, and got held and pushed again to the ground.
So he complained after the game, it's just crazy, and you agree with him.
With that game, certainly, yes. Now, listen, Gronk,
We're not talking about his play. I just
know.
want to know if he got held
Yeah,
on.
yeah, he got held a lot. Now, listen, he's a guy that also gets away with a lot of like shoulder throws and elbow throws too, as he's getting. So he can't always cry wolf.
Yeah.
But yes, it was ridiculous in that game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wanted to do some investigation.
Yeah,
A
it was
little inventory.
A little inventory. Baltimore, Detroit. Flacco threw the ball great, stepped into throws.
Yes.
And you underlined that.
Yeah, because ever since he hurt his knee at the end of 2 years ago, that was my issue with him last year. He wasn't always stepping into
Flat-footed
throws.
Flacco.
Flat-footed. If he wanted to throw at the ball at 12 o'clock, he would step at 9 o'clock to throw
Yeah.
it to 12 o'clock because he was afraid of that front knee being hit or whatever it may be. He was aggressive in mindset, and it was fun to watch them. They actually threw the ball down the field.
Yes.
Has he not been doing that all season this year?
No, they've been way too dink and dunk and trying to control the game that way. And
Throws
yes,
to the
he
running
hasn't
back.
thrown it great. Not the capabilities of which Joe Flacco can.
You said Dean Pease called an amazing game. They don't really have pass rushers, but he always dials up something. And
Yeah.
you said the Lions, with Jimmy Smith out, began attacking Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah.
And that could be something that to watch for.
I think it is. I mean, as soon as he came out of the game, they went right over to Marlon Humphrey, and they made a few plays on him. Now, Marlon Humphrey got the interception at the end to kind of
Yeah.
close it out when Stafford got hurt on his
Has
arm.
he been
with him.
good?
Humphrey, he's good.
Better than you expected, maybe?
The jury's still out.
Okay.
He looks great physically. I still think the issue of him playing the ball, like we said in college, is an issue.
You wrote in terms of the Eagles-Seahawks, Eagles let them off the hook, and that spying the quarterback is stupid against Russell Wilson.
Well, the spies are stupid. That's what they are more than time. I wish I
used
could
to get
stand up
so
and show you
excited
this.
when I heard that my team was spying somebody. Or I
Right.
loved when we had Donovan, and then they would say a linebacker was spying him. And I was
Right.
like, oh, I get to watch that matchup.
just
the whole
sounds
game.
cool.
It does, but you're telling me it's dumb because of crossing routes, and then Russell Wilson,
Well,
the guy spying him, just gets caught.
And they can't help it. They're like they're defensive players, okay? So they're like, ball, quarterback, gotta kill him, I gotta kill him. I can't help it. That's literally what
and
they
they
are.
can't be patient.
They can't be patient. It happened in the New England game, too. I think I might have even wrote it in the notes there because they spied Tyrod a few times. And they're in position, right? But at some point or another, when Russell's still in the pocket,
They go, fuck it, I'm getting him.
and they see a gap, and they
Yes.
go, I'm going to shoot the gap. Well, motherfucker, Russell's got two eyes. He sees you coming, and he runs away to another gap,
Every
and then they
time.
have nobody there to do it.
Every time.
So Atlanta made that problem. You guys had that problem. Like I said, New England, you just have to sit there and go, I'm going to stay 3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, and I'm not going to move until he makes a definitive move.
So is that going to be Miles Jack this week?
It could be, or is Telvin back this week? I don't know either. I don't know either.
Is that coachable?
It is
Can
coachable.
you teach a guy to not, when he sees the first gap, to not take it?
It can in the case like this, and that's why I
if
really
they do, you
think
bench him.
them playing him one time, if they have to play him in the playoffs, is really going to come back to help
then they
them.
show him the tape.
Well, they're just going to be like I said on Monday's podcast. You can't replicate what he does in practice. I don't care who your scout team quarterback was, unless you called Michael Vick. There ain't nobody else that can do what he can do.
So you've talked about how to attack the Jags defense. You also said how to attack New Orleans offense. Can the Saints get open versus good man-to-man defenses?
Yeah, it's come up a few times with me throughout the year, and I just think it's something to watch out for because
It's got to be Ted Ginn, I guess.
well, yeah, and you're right.
Kamara.
That's really who it has to be. But yeah, Carolina, when they got down and then they finally said, you know what, we need to start taking a few chances on defense and things like that, and they played man-to-man, and I don't think they're a great man-to-man team, and they don't really want to do it. But yes, New Orleans has a hard time separating, and they had a hard time the week before against the Rams as well out in L.A. That's why the pass game struggled. They have a lot of good receivers. They have no guy that really scares you. Willie Snead is not the same guy he's been in years past.
Michael
And-
Thomas isn't as good as people think he is in terms of creating space.
Yeah, he's not the guy
He's
that's
a
going to
good receiver.
Right. If he gets a ball down the field, he's going to be covered, and he's just going to jump up and get it, or Breeze is going to throw it back shoulder. But it's something to watch out for.
I think it's interesting.
But they
I
got
think
the
it's really
Falcons right
interesting.
this week. That's going to be fun to see.
It's going to be really interesting to see. I actually have the injury report. I'm curious. Let's do a little quick Thursday
Is
breakdown.
Trufant healthy?
Andy Levitre, starting guard for the Falcons, is out. Andrus Pete is out.
Ooh, he's definitely out. Wow.
Mark Ingram and Lattimore are questionable for Thursday against the Falcons. What do you think
Man.
of those injuries?
They're big. I mean, Pete's big. It's not as big if Teron Armstead is healthy,
Right.
but he's been so in and out of the lineup. Lattimore's big. Again, this Saints defense, it's not fixed. It's better. It's not fixed. We've seen good pass offenses still move the ball on
Yeah.
them. And Lattimore could help against a guy like Julio. He could do what Xavier Rhodes did.
I want to give a quick little nugget here on the Vikings. Oh, by the way, I
Hey.
looked it up. Chet's time of possession versus the Chiefs, 42-49. Longest in a non-overtime game since 2012. Remember we were watching the
Yes.
game? It was 42-49 to like 15,
Yeah, or 17,
17.
11.
Unbelievable.
Right.
The Vikings,
Yeah.
number one in third down percentage offense, number one in third down percentage defense.
Man, that's
incredible.
It's the biggest down in football.
And then one last nugget is Cam Jordan came out and said, I don't know any
I saw
defensive
that.
end doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen called him the best all-around defensive end in the league. He has 10.5 sacks, 13 tackles for losses, 7 batted passes. He's going for a different kind of triple-double.
I saw that. Yeah, that's good for him. He, as a guy
I
that,
wanted to bring him up because I thought he deserved praise.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we've tried to publicize him, and then we probably still don't publicize him enough. Yeah, he's not sexy, and he doesn't look cool in his uniform. Just a blatant ass kicker on a week-to-week basis.
And then Delanie Walker said, I'm very disrespected in this league. Commentators, announcers don't talk about me. I get double and triple coverage. I'm making plays. Nobody talks about that. That drives me. They don't talk about me. That makes me hungry. They talk about Gronk and Kelsey. They don't talk about Delanie Walker. Should they be?
How does he know who the announcers are talking
Well,
about? Is he watching the game from
I mean,
the
they
sideline?
don't talk because your stats aren't up there with Gronk or Travis Kelce, and it's not because of him, because he is that talented. He's a guy that's been disrespected disrespected his whole career. I mean, his whole career. Him and Vernon Davis were on that 49ers team together. He was phenomenal in that day. You know, he is phenomenal now. He's the #1 target for the Titans offense. And yes, teams double him. He's the #1 guy in their pass offense that people go, we got to take him away because that's who Mariota looks for.
Guess what?
What?
It is time for Sims's updated MVP rankings. For the last 3 weeks, because we didn't do week 11 because Sims didn't want to do a podcast because he's selfish sometimes. It has been Russell Wilson. That was Thanksgiving. Russell Wilson at 3, Tom Brady at 2, Carson Wentz at 1. And I'm feeling that this might change this week. We might have the first change in 3 weeks. Sims.
I'm shocked that Sims has not found a way to put Aaron Rodgers in this, despite his injury.
He's so valuable, they're losing.
Number 3, Brady.
Well, so let me just read the current standings. Tom Brady is #1 with 23 points.
Right.
Carson Wentz is #2 with 20 points, and then a huge drop-off. Aaron Rodgers is still #3 with 7 points. Tom Brady goes from #2 to #3.
Number 3.
Wow. Okay.
Number 2.
Number 2
is Carson Wentz.
Wow.
Yeah, I
And
gotta
your
do it.
#1 MVP guy this week,
It's Russell Wilson.
Russell Wilson.
And I don't
No
do just
excitement for
week
that.
to week. Like I try to. You got to do it over a sustained time here, and
Still hasn't figured it out.
the last 6 weeks are just absolutely phenomenal. I mean, he's in Aaron Rodgers territory. It's
Wow.
Yeah, he's playing unbelievable football. I mean, I don't. I'm picking him to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars this week.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm just letting you
what
know.
are you going to cover the spread?
I don't know what the spread is, but just so you know, I think I picked them to win 15-12 or 15-13. That's what it's going to be. But
Because when it comes down to it, he's going to make the play.
I just don't see anybody. If you guys couldn't contain him, if the Falcons couldn't contain him, then I got to see it to believe it. And as much as I think the Jaguars are amazing.
Yeah, I think the thing that I'm paying attention for the
on
Seahawks
grass,
right now
but-
is will they continue to spread the ball out and make that their strategy? My biggest issue with the Seahawks last year is they did it against the Patriots and then stopped doing it.
Yeah, they tried to go back. No, they're gonna do it.
It is time for Celebration Rankings. Your current leader with the best individual celebration ranking this season is still Golden Tate's People's Elbow. The #1 celebration for team has been the Steelers bench press. Those are the top 2 celebrations. We have 4 individuals and 4 teams trying to upset those 2 in the Chris Sims decisions. First one up, Jerick McKinnon from Atlanta scores against Atlanta and does the Dirty Bird in his homecoming. Number 2 for individual.
That's not gonna win.
Okay. It is Broncos versus Miami, and Julius Thomas, honoring the Denver Broncos at his time win there, rode the ball like it was a nasty cowgirl at a bar in which he paid $2 to ride it, and it's kind
The
of
cowgirl.
You mean a mechanical bull?
Yeah.
mechanical bull.
But you said ride a girl for $2.
I don't know. It's
Okay.
I found it very intense.
I'm shocked that he didn't get flagged for that. I mean, with his hand
It
down
was
by
very
his
sexual.
crotch and-
Yeah, a lot of
right.
it. Next one, Alex Collins finally whipped out the Irish jig.
This is my guy.
This is your guy. He taught us this when we went there, and he did his Irish line dancing down the end zone there. And then the last one for individual, I threw it in there because I know you're a fan of it. It was on there earlier. It is the Tyreek Hill peace sign.
I do love it.
As he's running by, he has turned the peace sign into his staple.
Yep.
And those are
I
the
love how
3.
he turns his head too, so he doesn't look at anybody to do it. You know
just
what I mean?
turns around and does it.
Because that was the close thing.
#1 for the week, Jerick McKinnon Dirty Bird, Julius Thomas Cowgirl, Alex Collins Irish Jig, Tyreek Hill peace sign. #1.
Tyreek Hill, peace sign.
Wow. #1, Tyreek Hill peace sign or Golden Tate People's Elbow.
Are you sure you didn't miss some this week? I don't know.
I have some teams.
I feel like there were some other ones, but okay.
I have some
I'm still
teams.
going with the people's elbow.
Okay.
Did Nelson show you guys the video of him and Juju?
Yes.
So Nelson, while he was here, told Juju to put a towel over his arm and pretend like he was a waiter. And in the game against the Bengals, Juju did it, but he did it all by himself.
Yeah,
so
because
like
Ramon
nobody.
Foster spiked the ball, and Antonio Brown was probably
So he's like
concussed
looking
after
around
George
trying to be the
Iloka.
waiter, but
Yeah.
Nelson told him to do that.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome?
That is.
That's great. All right, now team celebrations. First one, back to Alex Collins. tug of war with the entire offensive line. Scores, puts the ball down, offensive line gets up, wah, and he pulls the entire offensive line
Pretty
down.
good. I did like
good.
that.
It is a pretty good one. Another Baltimore Ravens one. Eric Weddle gets the pick 6. They go down. The team is celebrating. And check it out. He's going to do a fadeaway jumper. He's going to come and he's going to step around Marvin. Oh, you son of a bitch.
All right, whatever. He's not going to win.
He steps around Marvin Jones. And then he shot it. Fucking mother balls. Then you have Leonard Fournette shot the free throw.
I did like this one.
And
That
the
was funny.
offensive line boxed out.
Yep.
And then the last 4 was another Steelers one, and they imitate wrestling 1, 2, 3 with the pin. Juju Smith-Schuster pins Le'Veon. So who
I mean,
wins
those
best
3,
team?
Brown, Juju, and Le'Veon, they must be like 3 inseparables because they must be just all over.
I always feel bad for Martavis Bryant because he's never invited to their
Yeah,
celebrations.
well, he was missing for a year.
Ravens tug of war, Ravens game-winning shot, Jaguars free throw, or Steelers wrestling pin. Steelers wrestling pin, Jaguars free throw.
I know which one you're missing, though.
Tug of war, game-winning shot.
I'm going to go with the free throw.
Oh,
Free throw?
I am.
Wow. Jaguars free throw or Steelers bench press?
Steelers bench press.
Still number 1.
Still number 1.
What was I missing?
You're missing, which I think is becoming my new favorite one because it's going to piss defensive players off.
Okay.
And it happened against your defense. But the whole Jimmy Graham, whatever the hell
Jumping
they're doing,
around
like
thing?
techno party, right? Whatever it is.
the whistle.
And
or
they,
the
they
flute?
did that
Yeah.
like at practice. Like I think that could start to piss people off when they get in the
So
end zone.
you like celebrations that are beginning to that you don't think people are going to like?
I want something that's going to piss defenses off, and they're going to go, damn, we're not going to let them do that damn celebration on us. That's what I want. I want something that's a staple for a good team to piss
and it
people off.
might be the Seahawks.
Like, that's
techno
why I liked
flutes.
your Macarena thing with your Eagles
Electric
defense.
slide.
Or electric slide, whatever it was.
Or the Macarena.
But I did like that.
One late
Macarena.
90s line dance.
All right, we have iTunes comments. Thank you as always. If you leave a 5-star review on iTunes, myself or Wheels, I'm going to enlist him to do this, is going to get it, and we're going to read it. First one off, remember we had the guy that said his dad was a defensive MVP, his father-in-law
Oh,
was?
yeah.
Well, he commented again,
Oh,
Seth
good.
Rice. Hey, I wrote earlier, my father-in-law is Keith Millard.
Man, are you kidding me?
Who's that?
Damn, number 75 at the Vikings. Keith Millard sacked my dad many a times. He was a phenomenal football player.
What did he play?
He was a defensive tackle for the Vikings defense in the 80s when they were very good defense.
Really?
Yes, they were phenomenal. That's
He said, I swear I married my beautiful wife for her, not her genetics.
well, you're going to get some good genetics. I mean, he was like Keith Millard is a borderline Hall of Fame type defensive player.
Really?
He'd be, without any disrespect, Howie Longish, but maybe not that good. But
Was
yes.
he in the Purple
Look
People
him up.
Eaters?
He was not. He's after that.
Okay.
But he was with, like, remember, Chris Dolman?
Yeah.
That was that defense. They
Oh,
were
damn.
they were one of the few defenses when my dad played them. I actually used to be scared for my dad.
Wow.
Yeah.
He also asked a Broncos question. He said, Sims, obviously the Broncos need a new quarterback. Which draft prospect would you like to see them get? I love the talent of Josh Allen, but keep hearing mixed reviews. We're not in draft time yet.
No, we're not. Go to images so you can see what he looks like.
Oh, okay.
We have another Broncos quarterback
I like
question.
Josh Allen the best. Still, I don't give a shit what their record is at Wyoming or his stats. He's the most talented guy at the group.
Let me couple this with another Broncos quarterback question. Chaz based, you guys are top notch, best podcast I listen to. No one keeps it real like Adam and Chris. Born a Broncos fan. Is there a free agent quarterback that they should go for, or is the young one to develop not enough from Paxton to bank on?
Yeah, Paxton is definitely dicey at this point. I mean, is there a free agent? I do think it's a year where you're going to see some free agent quarterbacks out there. Whether that's a Kirk Cousins or
Alex Smith,
or maybe a
Tyrod
Phillip
Taylor,
Rivers or an Eli Manning. Right. I mean, there's a
What would
number.
you say, one of those guys or a rookie for the Broncos?
I think where they're at as their team right now, go to the rookie. Find a rookie.
Oh, you think they? Wow, this was a team that was ready, and now they've just
Yeah, I
imploded.
mean, hey, it's a fickle league. Their defense it's going to have to be changed over a little here in the next year or two. So you're gonna be back a little bit in, like Aqib Talib's going to be a year older next year.
Yeah.
So they got to start thinking about some new pieces and maybe rebuilding their
You know
team.
what I think happened with Denver's defense? They
Yeah.
had so much depth on that D line for so long.
Right.
And then they lost so many to free agency, and then they actually suffered injuries this year.
Yes, they did.
And it's the first time they've had that.
Right.
Another AFC West quarterback question. GT Bear 84, by far my favorite podcast. I've been listening since episode 2, and you've only gotten better with time.
Thank you.
Adam does a great job reeling in Chris and keeping the show moving smooth, like a silky smooth receiver going in and out of his routes. Chris is throwing deep bombs of knowledge throughout the show, whether it's football,
Deep
health
bombs of
advice, the
knowledge.
environment, or politics. As a high school coach, this is so much I want to ask Chris. There is so much I want to ask Chris in terms of film breakdown and opponent scouting, but I won't go there now. My main question is the Chiefs. Do you think the Philly offense with Carson Wentz is a possible preview of the Kansas City offense with Patrick Mahomes?
Yes, I do. I think it's going to be very similar in its base premises, except really it has a chance to be more special and dynamic just because they have a few guys that are, Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce. As good as your team is, you don't have those three guys. And I mean, you know my thoughts about Mahomes. I think Mahomes can be an absolute superstar. I think you're going to see very much that Eagles-type offense, but maybe even a hair more dangerous just because Andy is good at drawing up, 3 fuck you plays every week.
I saw this highlight posted on the Check Down, which is an Instagram account, and it was Donovan McNabb throws 5 touchdowns in the first half. And I watched, and it was 10-yard pass to T.O. that he takes up 30 yards.
Right.
Dump off to Brian Westbrook that he takes up 30 yards.
Right.
Dump off to Westbrook and he goes 20 yards.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is why I question McNabb.
Yeah.
Because those two guys were fucking special.
They
L.J.
were.
Smith, 10-yard run.
He was
athletic.
good. Right.
To Andy Reid, a lot of questions about the coach, and here's a coaching question. Echo Delta 13, Best Sports Podcast, uses no time fillers, preaches the truth. How about more time spent on why coaches get free passes while players get blamed for everything? For
Yeah.
example, Goff compared to Manning.
Right.
I don't know what that means.
Goff compared to Manning. He's saying Manning or Mannion?
Manning.
All right, but either way, I mean, I get it. I think you're right. Coaches get a free pass a lot of the times. We always look at whoever it was on the highlight that made the bad play or missed the block or, my favorite, the tight end blocking the number 1 pass rusher in football, and they go, "Oh, why couldn't he block him?"
Or how about we're going to blame the Jets cornerbacks when why was the defense being put in that situation?
There you
We're
go.
going to blame Rodney McLeod
Right.
for getting beat by Doug Baldwin. Why is he on an island on an important third down with Doug Baldwin?
Exactly right.
That's bad coaching.
That is bad coaching. Those are the little things you got to look at. And yes, coaches do get a free
And
pass.
then they say
and that's why we're
execution.
here. We're Lefkoe and Sims are here to set the record straight with that shit. That's why a lot of my coaching friends don't like me anymore.
Speaking of coaches that we question, Packer Nation 420. So this is a guy that's all in our business. Love the pod. I'm a huge Packers fan. A listener, I know you guys see the frustrations of McCarthy's offense, but when you look at his stats, should we move on from him? Do you think we should? Also, do you think Josh McDaniels would leave New England to come to Green Bay? Keep up the good work.
I do think that he would think about that, yes.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers, who you got to look at him and go, he's got at least, 4 or 5 years of really top-level play still in him.
I'm going to go against the grain right
Yeah.
now and say that what McCarthy has done these last few weeks without Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah.
I thought they battled it in Pittsburgh and they
Yeah.
had that game. They go out there and I think they ran Hundley in overtime against Tampa Bay, and I like the play calling. And the defense is not really that good, but they're figuring it out.
Yeah.
I'm coming to grips with the fact that McCarthy is a good situational coach, but get him an OC. Do what they're doing in Kansas City.
Yeah,
Get him a
that's
Matt
it.
Nagy and let him give up the play call.
That is it.
Come up with a new
that's all
system.
there is to it. Right. Don't you worry about the system. Hire somebody from a different system.
Yeah.
You need new ideas and new schemes and new thought process in general. He is a good head coach. His team always plays tough. They're always detailed, like you just said. They understand situational football. They haven't lost games because of Mike McCarthy mishandling a game. They've lost games with Mike McCarthy, the play caller and play designer, it just doesn't do enough in a game to help out the rest of his team against teams that are equal or better than the Packers, even with or without Aaron Rodgers.
All right, this next guy wants to help you, and he has a question about your friends.
Okay.
Cranberries 20. Love Sims' takes. Lefkoe, you seem like a cool dude I want to have a cold one with. I drink tequila, so I'll do that. Sims, I'm wondering how close you are to Michael Lombardi. I'm wondering if you cross paths in New England. I'm wondering what you think of some of his takes.
Right.
1, he thinks Jason Garrett's only job is to motivate the team and nicknamed him the Clapper. 2, he thinks Doug Peterson is massively overrated. I'm wondering, so what do you think? I know you talk to Mike Lombardi.
I do.
Regularly.
I don't listen to Mike McCarthy. I mean, like you told me the one about Jason Garrett, how he calls him the Clapper or
sometimes
whatever
I'll
else.
listen to his podcast.
Yes.
I like Lombardi's takes. He's smart.
Well, Lombardi's extremely smart.
Belichick talks to him. That's very rare.
No doubt. And Mike, my favorite conversations of my week, I don't talk to Mike every week. We call each other every week, but I would say we talk, once every other week for sure. And it's one of my favorite conversations of the week. I mean, Mike has so much knowledge.
Behind.
Actually, yes. No, it's my favorite football conversation of the week.
There's no anyone else that you like to talk about football with more?
Not Adam Lefkoe. Nope, Mike Lombardi.
This is bullshit.
Mike Lombardi, Dan LeBatard, then Adam Lefkoe.
This is nonsense. Wow. I'm going to put you
Nice.
on probation.
Lombardi is
What do you think
amazing.
of those takes?
I don't know. I don't know if I feel that way about Jason Garrett. Yes, Jason Garrett's not as hands-on. He has coordinators that are doing that. He's an extremely smart person and understands football in all levels. So I'm not going to agree with that totally. Mike can go out there and annihilate people. I don't feel that way about Doug Peterson either. I don't think Doug Peterson is Bill Belichick or anything like that, but I think Doug Peterson is still a good football coach.
Yes.
So Mike, I learned a lot of football from Mike. Mike studies the game hard. He, of course, yes, is friends with Belichick, worked for Bill Walsh, was the right-hand man to Al Davis. He has so many stories and so many little tidbits of information that I always find interesting.
I'm just so excited I got to talk to my favorite male Sims today. Actually, I could talk to my favorite 2 Simses.
Yeah.
And then maybe I could talk to Matt, and then...
And I'm back on the podcast today.
And now you're
obviously.
here. Just my favorite people. Cranberry's other note was, how do you figure out the scores of the games when you write your predictions?
Oh, that's a
Flip
good
a
one.
coin.
No.
How do you come up with the numbers? He says, he gives his stats. He goes, he comes up with my numbers trying to think of touchdowns and field goals.
Yeah, I don't do that. All right, so I just think of the game in general. Most games are somewhere between 17 and 31, right? So come on. I go through games and I go, man, 23-20, 24-21, 27-23. 21-17. Those are the scores you're going to generally be on. So they're always in my head. But the only thing I will look at as a stat where I'm picking my game,
Points per game?
points allowed per game on the
Points
defense.
allowed per game.
On the defense.
So not how many they score, but how many they allow.
How many they allow. That is the one thing I'm going to look at and go, oh, okay. Well, the Steelers only let up 17 a game, but this is a good pass defense, so they might let up a few more. I'm going to give the Bengals 24 or whatever it may be. That's what
I also think you're not trying to hit it exactly. You're just trying to. I mean, of
I'm
course
just trying
you
to be
are, but
ballpark.
you want
he's
to
trying
tell
to hit it
people.
exactly.
You want
He's
to
hit
tell
it
people
twice.
what's going to happen in the game. If it's 31-28.
Yeah. I go through my description of the game with my ghostwriter, and I tell him everything that jumps out to
You
my
have a ghostwriter?
I do.
We're gonna get to that in a second.
Go ahead.
So let's hold off on that.
All right.
Trent VK, maybe next year. How would you fix the Lions' issues after this year? The defense is underperforming. The run game bottom of the league for the 4th straight year.
Yeah.
It feels like they're wasting Stafford's prime year. Is a coaching change needed, or is it lack of talent?
I think that is.
I like Caldwell.
I like Caldwell too.
They need to draft a running back not named Amir Abdullah.
They do. They're wasting Matt Stafford. They probably, they were a little beat up on the offensive line. They've had a little issues there. They lost Haloti Ngata.
The question was for you. What would you do?
Ezekiel Anza's not the same guy as he was 2 years ago, so they have no difference makers. They need a guy just about on every level of the defense to be like. They need one more stud on the D line. They need another linebacker to go along with Jarrad Davis. They need another legit cover corner as well.
Right.
Offensively, they really got it all, except just a developed run game in general as either. And I like Jim Bob Cooter's offense, but I'm not in love with it. It has a lot of the staples.
Yes.
It's not the
It's
worst
very
offense,
repeatable.
But again, this is the one thing I think. They are, to me, definitely one of the under-the-radar coaching change teams. Yeah, definitely. Just think about it first of all. It's Bob Quinn. He came from New England. This is not his guy.
Right.
They might not make the playoffs. Fucking Josh McDaniels is going to leave New England this year. If he doesn't, I'll be shocked. This is the year. I just think that would be a place that I'd watch out for him with.
Josh McDaniels more likely Detroit, New York, or Tennessee?
Gosh.
because there is a Patriots GM at both Tennessee and Detroit.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think Tennessee's out of the woods. Like if Malarkey and them don't make the playoffs, or even if he just loses the wild card game, I wouldn't be shocked there.
If you were McDaniels, where would you go?
Detroit.
You got Stafford.
You got no expectations. I mean, nothing. That's like a coach's dream to go, okay, I have
the
a
Giants,
GM I
you got to
trust.
flip it around quick.
You do. You got to flip it around quick, and you
And
might
you
not
got
know who your
Odell.
quarterback is.
And you got Odell.
Yeah.
But you did pick the Giants to go to the Super Bowl in the preseason this year, so it's not like it's out of the
No,
question.
but it's going to be a
flip it
less
around.
appealing thing just because they're going to go, okay, yeah, maybe I have Eli for one more year, but then I have to start back with the quarterback situation again. Or they go, damn, there's no Eli, and I'm going to have to draft somebody or do something like that too. So that will factor into their decision.
4 games left in the season, right?
Yeah, right.
Over under 4 games for Eli Manning in a Giants jersey the rest of his career.
I think it's 4.
You think it's under?
I think this is it.
Okay. Schaefer 24, fixing the team. Sims and Lefkoe, longtime listener. Love what you do and you're about. Your input has changed my view of the game and made it much more enjoyable. I have a suggestion for the offseason I think people would love. I'd love to see a segment of the show dedicated to really breaking down and analyzing each team.
Yeah.
Would love to see, Chris, and your thoughts on how the teams could be improved, what their needs are. Think a season review mixed with a state of the franchise type of idea. As a Raider fan, I'd love to hear your take, but as a football fan, hearing a breakdown of each team would make us that much deeper. We'll think of something for that.
Maybe we do divisions where we just go like 1 week in the offseason, we do AFC East, and then the next week we do something like that.
You guys let us know what you guys think, because it's always hard, because I don't want to talk about 4 teams that they don't know.
Right,
or
we
don't
get
care
scared.
about.
Right, tell them we're scared of that.
Yeah,
and
I
we're
don't want to
scared-
do a thing on like the Jaguars, the Falcons, on the Raiders, and then like a Giants fan's like, I'm going to skip this episode.
Yes, right. That's where we
But
fall.
if you guys are fucking down for every team, we're down to do it.
We are down to do it.
Last one, Danny Village, out of Lefkoe Field. Chris, do you actually write your own articles, or do you have someone write while you speak out loud? Your articles are written as if you're talking like it's in the podcast.
Well, that's the way I would like it to be, and that's what I do convey to my ghostwriter, and I think my ghostwriter, yes, Chris Knox.
That is the way that I'd like it to be,
It's
and
fun-
I
well,
talk like this.
I do. I
Plain
my
and
ghostwriter.
simple.
Plain and simple.
He's got all my phrases. And
Does he put plain and simple in the articles?
I've seen it in there before. Yes, I'm sure he tries to get out of someone, because I probably say it for 13 out of the 16 matchups.
For the first time, I actually heard Sims speaking to his ghostwriter, and because I was in there during the 4 o'clock games, and he's talking, and every time he finished a game breakdown, he'd go, I don't know, I probably talked too much there. I probably gave you too much. Like every game, he's like, that was probably too much. I probably talked too much.
I
on that
imagine
one.
he's kind of like your therapist. Like you're talking it out to him. You're talking.
It
through
does
the
help
game.
me wrap my head around my thoughts of the game. Al Michaels saw me doing it. Okay.
What do you mean? Oh, because you're doing it.
I was doing it the NBC nights, right? And the 4 o'clock games are coming to an end, and I was like, okay.
And you're in this trailer.
I'm in this trailer.
Yeah,
That's
tell people the
awesome.
trailer you're in for NBC.
It's awesome. NBC has a trailer just for the talent, to where we can sit there and watch the games. The 4 o'clock games, they're all on TVs, and I got a captain's bucket seat, and there's snacks around, and it's everything. It's a perfect man
What are the
cave.
snacks?
I mean, literally, gosh, chips, food. They got a lot. They got a lot of stuff.
And you're
They
not
really
eating
do.
any.
I'm not really. Maybe some window greens. Maybe a chips.
Who's eating the most?
Let's see. Tarico's got his hands on the chips a lot.
Do they get you Chipotle?
No, they don't.
All right, so so you're on the phone.
So I'm on the. I sneak out of the main room and go to the room where a few of the other people work, and there's a hardline phone there. So I'm going to call there and knock out the rest of my power rankings article. And all I do is just, he just goes, okay. He goes, all right, Denver and blah blah blah, and he just goes through the teams, and I start to go, what happened in the game on Sunday, and then main theme for the year is basically what I try to do with those. And I'm going, and I guess Al, I don't even know it at first, but Al must be behind me. He's walked into the trailer there, and I'm on the phone, and I'm just rattling off the games, and I'm talking about them. And I went over about 5 or 6, and I saw that once he walked by me, he stopped back and he kind of listened. He was sitting there shaking his head and agreeing with me, and I could see, he was like, that's a good point. And those kind of looks. I got done. I walked back into the main room. He goes, what are you doing, a radio interview? And I go, no. I go, that was my Bleacher Report power rankings. And he went, wow. He goes, you can just sit there and talk like that about every team? And I said, yep, I can. Yeah. I think he was impressed.
Imagine trying to explain Bleacher Report to Al Michaels.
He gets it a little. He's talked about the hidden truths to show me that he
knows
that he
about that?
Googled me or something.
He's like, oh, I've seen your hidden truths.
Yes. Yeah.
I love that segment.
I know.
Hidden truths, literally created by random chance in a video.
Yeah.
Remember? I was like, these are Sims's hidden truths.
You're right.
And then people were like, We're going to
like
create a
the
segment
intro.
called
Give us
Intros. Give us more. I will say this. It is very funny. This is 2017. The last few months has been the year of Sims. It has been a great year for you.
Well, thank you.
But it's very funny to watch LeBatard and these guys be like, timeout. You have that opinion about Blake Bortles? And it's, the rest of the world is
Just
getting
catching
to
on.
see your madness.
Like I said, I wouldn't have been able to do it without you guys.
Dude,
I truly mean
I
that.
am so excited for when they realize you've never eaten an egg in your life.
gonna be
I
a
went
great
back
segment.
into my old Instagram and I found the video of you trying vanilla pudding for the
Right,
first time,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
called it a poor man's cake batter.
Right. Just add a little more
Legendary stuff
sugar.
here. If you guys
A
remember
little more
that,
sugar. That would have been cake batter.
we had Sims try a bagel on episode 2 or 3.
God.
And he said it was just like garlic bread that you'd find on the table of an Italian restaurant.
Right. I don't know why everybody in North Jersey made that a staple of their breakfast forever. I don't get it.
The
Sims
early
Lefkoe
days of the
podcast.
podcast.
So coming up tomorrow, or whenever you guys listen to the pick show, it is going to be all of our Week 14 picks. Lefkoe went 12-4 against the spread.
Damn,
he's
good
feeling
for you.
fucking
What?
hot. We are going to have
So
Warren
hot.
Sapp. Warren Sapp. We are going to do Fill in Time with Warren Sapp. We're
Yeah.
going to bring him on, and then I have a special guest.
I'm really interested here.
Holy shit! It's your mom. She's coming in. For Sims.
Peace out, homies.
Fendrick does not say good evening, apparently.
Good evening, everybody. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody. And the Lefkoe
Man.
says good night. As always, we love you. Thanks for subscribing. Hit us up on social at Sims and Lefkoe, Instagram or Twitter. We will holler at you. Good evening, good night, good morning. Holla at you, boy.